The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. Jesus said to his apostles, "Do not think that I have come to bring peace upon the earth. I have come to bring not peace, but the sword. For I have come to set a man against his father, a daughter against her mother, and a daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. And one's enemies will be those of his household. Whoever loves father or mother more than me is not worthy of me. And whoever loves son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. And whoever does not take up his cross and follow after me is not worthy of me. Whoever finds his life will lose it. And whoever loses his life for my sake will find it. Whoever receives you receives me. And whoever receives me receives the one who sent me. Whoever receives a prophet because he is a prophet will receive a prophet's reward. And whoever receives a righteous man because he is righteous will receive a righteous man's reward. And whoever gives only a cup of cold water to one of these little ones to drink because he is a disciple, amen, I say to you, he will surely not lose his reward." When Jesus finished giving these commands to his 12 disciples, he went away from that place to teach and to preach in their towns. The Gospel of the Lord. Many of you, I'm sure, have noticed by now that Petra is finally back from her 2-week vacation. Last time she left, I made a point to mention it at Mass, and we all applauded her, but I know she was very embarrassed. So even though I could talk about how much we missed her, how much Mass was not the same, I wasn't sure how much longer we could go on without her presence. I think it's better that we just dive right into the Gospel reading today. So this Gospel passage this morning is a very striking Gospel passage. There's many things about this that are very perplexing to us when we read this. Jesus says that he came not to bring peace upon the earth, but to bring the sword. Jesus said that he came to set a man against his father, a daughter against her mother, a daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. What exactly was Jesus talking about when he made these claims? It's important for us to recognize a couple of things. The first aspect is something to do with the Old Testament. The other aspect has to do with our duty as Christians. Jesus, when he spoke about setting a man against his father and a daughter against her mother, he was specifically quoting a prophecy from the Old Testament. And does anybody know where that appears in the Old Testament? Not a very well-known Old Testament book. It's in the prophet Micah. And in fact, it's a theme that appears in many of the Old Testament prophets. Many of the Old Testament prophets prophesied that when the Messiah would come, he would usher in a time of tribulation and distress and division and trial. That's why you see in the Gospels, for example, one of the times that was seen as an indication of Jesus' ministry, of the time being at hand, was when John the Baptist was arrested and beheaded. It was seen as a sort of initiation of the time of tribulation. And it was only after the time of division and tribulation that then salvation would be achieved and the kingdom would be restored. Right? All those different themes come together in the Old Testament prophets, and we see that in the life of Jesus. Jesus being the most prominent person to be persecuted, but then likewise his apostles were persecuted after him. And for roughly 40 years, there was great tribulation in the city of Jerusalem, climaxing when the temple itself was destroyed in 70 AD. Right? So the prophet Micah, in speaking about the tribulation, spoke and prophesied that in those days there would be so much division because following the Messiah would take a decision, and some people would follow and others would not. And therefore there would be divisions, even in households, between a father and a son, a mother and a daughter, daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. When Jesus says he came to set a man against his father, He wasn't saying as in he did that intentionally, but that in his coming, there would be fathers who would turn against their sons and vice versa, because that's the kind of decision it took to follow Christ, right? What about this business about not bringing peace, but the sword? Again, to us modern Christians, it might sound a little bit strange. Many of us have this picture of Jesus that he was just a preacher of peace. But we must always remember that one of the greatest images in the Old Testament as a prefiguration of the kingdom of Christ was the conquest of the Holy Land in the Old Testament, in which God sent his people to establish his kingdom, but before the kingdom could be established, first there was war and conquest. And in our day still, there is no kingdom, there is no reign of Christ on earth without first a war. And the war is not fought with physical swords and physical armies, but it is fought with the sword of the Spirit, with a fight for the truth, with the interior battle which each of us must battle every single day, dedicating ourselves as soldiers to the training necessary to win the world for Christ, the dedication of daily prayer and fasting and study and penance. And we are sent on mission. It is very true that Christ came not to bring mere peace, but to bring the sword.